Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn. To become the most annoying person you've ever watched on YouTube. I'm like so passionate about this. This one is just very like, this is what's happening and this is how we're gonna go about it, you know? I loved it, it was so cute. The ending was so cute. One of the before chapters, which I am loving. The book is so good. Like it just, and I know they're gonna slip up at one point. Like everything that happens, I'm underlining and writing and putting their name there. I'm like, that's you. That's you. Today's video, I wanted to film a continuing book series I am in the middle of. So I'm gonna go over what I have in this pile. So the first book I have will be on my Kindle. It's the second book in the Crowns of Naxia series, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. That is the second book in the Nightborn duet. There's like 6 books, I believe, in that series, and each book is its own duet. So I just recently finished The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Chris Broadbent. I absolutely love this book, devoured it fully. I knew immediately that I wanted to start the second book very soon because there was a lot of information in this book and I love the world so much. I do not want to fall out of it and forget important information because I tend to do that, especially with fantasies. I want to try and read this one as soon as I can. So that's option number 1. The second one would be Nightbane by Alex Astor. I have had this book on my bookshelf for such a long time. I read the first book last year, or no, oh my gosh. I read the first book this January and I, once again, really love that book. There's also an insane plot twist at the end of that first book. So it's Nightbane, which is the second one. The third one is Skyshade, and then another one's called Crown Tide. I am so excited. Something about the fantasy world and just the characters and the whole plot of it, I feel like I never read before, especially in fantasy. I also read Lightlark around the time where I was just getting into fantasy. I haven't really read too many of like popular fantasies, but Lightlark was really one of my favorites. The third book I would want to read is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the third book of the Inheritance Games series. There's a fourth book I also have, The Brothers Hawthorne. I also have really loved this series so much. The first book was good, the second book was even better, and I'm also a Grayson girly, and I've seen someone comment on like one of my videos saying that they're curious to see my thoughts and opinion of Grayson after I read this book, and I've had that in the back of my mind for the longest time. The final book I'm considering to read in this video is Caught Up by Liz Tomford. This is the third book in the Windy City series. So those are all the potential books that I could read. I'm still not sure which one I want to start first for this video, but you guys will see in the next clip. I am very excited to read any of these, honestly. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm about to become the most annoying person you've ever watched on YouTube. Please don't leave. So I started reading a little bit of The Final Gambit. The chapters are super quick. I'm already on chapter 5, but I wanted to talk about, I think I mentioned this the last time I read the second book of this trilogy. I spoke about Grayson nonstop, and that's what's gonna happen in this book. So much happens in this trilogy. I went on TikTok and YouTube and I looked up like summaries of the second book and kind of like the first and second book just to refresh my brain of everything that's happened. They kind of helped, they kind of didn't. Everyone's saying Jameson this, Jameson that. I don't know how anyone's gonna pick Grayson. Like, it's obvious it's Jameson. I don't know who it's gonna be. Grayson gives Conrad vibes. Like, he is the obvious choice. So I'm just gonna start reading you quotes about Grayson. This is page 15. It's Avery's 18th birthday party. She didn't want a big party. Jameson is away traveling in Italy, and then Grayson was in school in Harvard. So she's anticipating that she's gonna be alone for her birthday until she's surprised by Jameson, and they go on this big like hot air balloon trip and all these like things, whatever, blah blah blah, we don't care. And then she gets back to the party, it's all set up. She's like, oh my gosh, I didn't want a party. And then her best friend Max is there, her sister Libby's there, Jameson's there obviously. And then while Max is speaking to her, this is what she says. Max replied, but before I could process what she was saying, I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, or maybe I sensed it, sensed him, clad entirely in black, wearing a $10,000 tuxedo the way other guys wore ratty sweatshirts. Grayson Hawthorne stepped onto the dance floor. Obviously in the moment, like me reading that to you, it doesn't sound that intense, but when I'm reading this and like he just has this vibe and energy to him that is so attractive that I'm sorry, Jameson will never be able to have. Jameson gives me Jeremiah vibes, and whoever she ends up in this, I don't care. It's gonna be Grayson in my brain. I just had to come on here and let you guys know because I know I'm gonna be so annoying while giving you guys updates, and I'm so sorry. I love Grayson. All right, I need to get further into this book before I even chat with you guys another time. I'll try to restrain myself from speaking about Grayson, but I love this man. I'll talk to you guys when I'm like a little more into the book. Hopefully my camera doesn't fall. If it does, I'm sorry. I started reading more of The Final Gambit. I haven't been reading it that much because Allie Hazelwood came out with a short story called Hot for Slayer. I have been reading that a little more than this one. I'm gonna take the time today to read this. I want to get halfway through, so where that bookmark is, that's where I want to be by the end of today. I'm currently on page 30, and we all know I'm a Grayson girly. We love Grayson here in this household. I'm just gonna hold it because I can't let my camera fall like that again. I hate that. I just bought this camera. I don't remember what happened in the second book really, and that's really throwing me off because there are these key moments between Grayson and Avery that I feel like I need to remember what was spoken about in the second book, and my book's packed away in storage, so I don't have access to it. But I feel like I'm just very out of the loop right now because I can't remember like major plot points that happen in that one. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might try and find that book and just like flip through the pages because I need it in order to, I feel like, really understand this. But so far we have another character who has entered into the equation. More issues are now starting. It's gonna get good. We're waiting for it. There's like this tension between Grayson and Avery, and I eat it up. But like I'm scared she's just gonna be Jameson. Hi you guys, so I have made it halfway through the book on chapter 48, page 187. I read a good chunk of it today. Like I mentioned before, it is such a quick read. I don't have too many thoughts on the story right now or what's happening. I think if you've read any of the other books, you know kind of like how they go. There's definitely a buildup of the big mystery that we need to solve in this book. I am curious to see what the answer is, obviously. One thing I do love is the mysteries and the riddles that are in this. It's also fun because I feel like as readers, while we're reading it, we can also try and solve it. Like there's certain parts of the story where like Avery will be saying something or like reading something for the riddle, and I'll write in the margins be like this, and this, and it is that. And I'm like, you know what, I'm so smart, like put me in this world. So obviously I feel like Jennifer Lynn Barnes sets us up to where we as readers can also start piecing the puzzle together. So I love that aspect of the book. I also love how everything connects in this story. I'd love to see Jennifer Lynn Barnes like writing process for this book, or like all the books, and just the notes, like how she connects everything, all the little pieces and moving parts that she has in these stories is truly amazing. Like I don't think I'd ever be able to write something like this. One thing I will say is I'm not getting the same vibe that I did when I was reading the first and second book. It just, this one kind of feels a little more flat to me. I am enjoying it, but I also think the storyline and like the plot's different than the other two. This one's definitely a little more, I'd say, emotional, especially for like the Hawthorne boys. Not to say it's bad or anything, it's just definitely different vibes than before. I think we're definitely seeing a different side to all the characters, which I do like, and we're meeting new people in different, I guess, like branches of the family tree for the Hawthorne family. I think with this one right now, I'm definitely waiting for like the shoe to drop or like the big thing to be revealed or something crazy to happen. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's as intense as the other ones. I feel like in the other books we've moved to different locations. I think that's what's different. I just hit the nail on the head. In the other books we've went to multiple locations, especially in the second book. In this one we've stayed mostly in the mansion, and then she went to school one day and that was it. I definitely want to see more like movement and changes in the setting. Hi guys, I'm currently dog sitting right now at another house, so I'm not home, obviously. I'm chapter 58, page 231. We've had a big break in this story. We kind of figured out who the main person is that started this puzzle for Avery in this book, and we're getting closer. We're narrowing in on these people, so I'm really excited to finish this book. I'll probably check in with you guys once I'm done. I have 137 pages, so I'm hoping to finish this tonight, hopefully before the night ends, and then we can start our next book, which I'm really excited for. So I have an update for The Final Gambit. I have finished it. We're done. I really had to sit and think about my thoughts about this book. I ended up rating this book 3.75 stars. I definitely think the second book is my favorite. I can't remember what I rated the first one, but I did enjoy that. I feel like I'm in the minority when I say I didn't really like this book. So many reviews love this book, and then so many people didn't because of the outcome of the love triangle, which is so real. And I didn't get the same vibe as I did when I read the first two books, like I mentioned earlier. I think a large aspect of why I didn't like this book is because of how stagnant it was. We obviously obviously Avery's bounded to the house because of her agreement with Tobias Hawthorne that she can't leave the house for an extended period of time until she's 18. So I get that part. And in the second book, we definitely tested that boundary a lot more. But in this one, we did not leave. And normally I was okay with that, especially in the first one. But this book, we really did not do anything. There was nothing special or new to this book besides a new riddle or mystery that we had to solve. And granted, yes, we did learn a lot of key information and pieces and answers to a lot of the questions we had throughout the first two books. But this riddle and mystery, I did not care about at all, if I'm being so honest. I just feel like it could have been done a different way. I don't think personally she handled Grayson's character with love and care that she should have. She just made him unlikable throughout the story, especially this one. I'm like so passionate about this because in love triangles, there are such a clear answer to who the person needs to pick. She could have handled it in a different way, or at least closed off the hope or expectation that even though she ended up with this one person, that she might end up with the other person, because everyone's still thinking about everyone. I don't think this love triangle will ever die out. I haven't really even talked about all the other characters. I love Nash. His character was very steady throughout the whole book. I really liked Libby. I feel like she grew as a character too. Who else? Oh, Xander. I love Xander. He's so sweet. I wish we got more from him, and I'm happy we did actually have like plot points that were solely focused on him and his side of the story. And then finally, just how Avery handled the whole situation at the ending of this book. If you know what I'm talking about. What are you doing? Tobias Hawthorne is literally rolling in his grave right now when she was doing that final interview and when she was explaining herself. The dumbest thing she could have done. That is my thoughts and opinions on this book. For the second book of this video, I'm going to be reading Nightbane, which is the second book in the Lightlark series or trilogy series. I think there's 4 books in this, 4 or 5 coming out. This one I'm also very excited for, but I do not want to make my high expectations ruin it. I love the first book, and I know there's split opinions on that one as well, but I thought it was so good. The ending, the plot twist got me. Totally got me. One thing I also love about fantasy books is the music, and I can't specifically remember if it was this book. There's like this violin version of songs. So good, I was obsessed with it. But the playlist that I had for Lightlark, soul changing. It's like Florence and the Machine is like the only one that I can really think of right now for artists. And like Hosier, the music always hits for fantasy. So that's what I'm really excited for, because I didn't really find a playlist for the Final Gambit, and I feel like that also played into it because music really puts me into the world that I'm also reading. I might need to watch like a review video of what happened in Lightlark. I'm going to watch that, and then we will start into this book. I'll give you guys some thoughts once I get into this book and understanding more of what's gonna happen in the story. I've read a little bit since I last checked in. I don't really have a full grasp of the story. I made it to page 14, and then I kind of got distracted on my phone, had dinner, really wasn't reading. I don't know why I'm not like in the mood to read right now, and it's really upsetting me. But anyways, I'm gonna lock in for the next few hours before I go to bed. I realized I didn't mention what this story was about. In Lightlark, there's this big island called Lightlark. There's been this curse that's been casted upon it for the last 500 years, and every 100 years Lightlark reappears. There's 5 realms, I believe 5 or 6 realms, where each of them have a ruler, and the 5 or 6 rulers come to Lightlark every year and basically do like a Hunger Games style of like a competition. One of the rulers has to die, and then once they die, the curse will be lifted. In the first book, we follow Eye the Crown, which is the same person we follow in this one. I forgot to mention Grimm. He was like the main reason why I rated that first book 5 stars. Love that man. He wields shadows. He is just like banter. He is just so perfect for a fantasy MMC. So that was also another reason why I loved that story so much. The reason I did start reading Lightlark was because of this picture I found on Pinterest, or it was on TikTok or something. It's going around somewhere. I think it's based off of this book, so I'm really curious to see if that's the case. I have a little update. I did make it to page 100. That was like my cutoff for last night. I was like, my goal is to get to 100. I started listening to the book because I saw Spotify had it for like an audiobook, and I was like, awesome. Like I could be listening to this in between stuff. So I was listening to it a little bit in the car. It doesn't really say chapters, but this is like one of the before chapters, which I am loving. I feel I've been saying the names wrong, so it's Isla. I remember when I read the first book, I asked my friend Jade how to pronounce it. She said that's Isla, and I was like, oh my god, I was saying Isla. Didn't clock it. I didn't understand that. And then I started listening to the audiobook and they're pronouncing it as Isla. And I was like, that makes sense, but also like now that makes me feel confused. And then Oro is O-R-O, but they pronounce it as Aro in the book. So maybe I'm just not pronouncing things correctly, but I thought that was really funny. I don't really know how to update, I guess, because these books are in the middle of series. That's the video that you're watching. But the direction that these FMCs are taking with other FMCs in this book, it's just like, why are we wasting our time? And if you know what I'm talking about in this book, I love Grimm. I love that man. He's been a little MIA, but she's getting like little hints of him here and there, and I'm like, giggling when I read or when I was listening to it in the car today. I was like, yes, there he is. We're getting a lot of then and now timelines to where we kind of understand the past of relationships with other characters that we learned about in the first book. We're kind of getting that background in here. We're developing more in the sense for Isla and how she's growing. I'm enjoying it. I definitely think the audiobook's gonna help me get through this book. It's not that it's a bad book. I just, like I said, right now I think I'm not vibing with reading for whatever reason. I think I just have a lot on my brain that I want to get done that's not reading. That's beyond the point. I'm going to sit down and read this, and I'll give you guys updates later on once I'm probably halfway. That'll be my next check-in unless something miraculous happens. My next check-in will be the halfway point. You know what I was saying about even with like the inheritance games? I feel like authors might write certain characters, they're like scenes together better than other ones, especially if it's like a love triangle or something, to show the character that they want the other person to be with. I would do that if I was an author. Like I would spend so much time writing a scene with the specific characters just to make the moment special. And then with the other one, it's like, like I'll just type something really quick, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that she does that, but like when I'm reading the scenes between these characters and then it compares to the other ones, it's like, which one is better? Or I just make everything bigger in my head because I want this specific character to be endgame. So it could be reader discretion. So I went upstairs and I found my copy of Lightlark because I was getting so confused of what was happening. I tried Googling it, but I feel like I kind of spoiled it for myself. Not fully, just like one little detail. But like I forgot all the lore. So I went back and read like the last 20 pages, like, you know, just like scan them of Lightlark. I was giggling again. That book is so good. Like the reveal at the end was so good, and I remember why I love that story so much. So I'm hoping that energy transfers over to this one. This hopefully will be more interesting. I know I keep like talking about how I'm not interested in invested in the story, but I think it's just like there's like this missing piece of memory in my brain from the first book, so that's why I'm not like enjoying this one, because there was so much information from the last book, especially at the end. So rereading that last part definitely helped, but like I was just upstairs giggling at pages and like annotating and I'm like reading what I wrote. I just thought that was funny. So I thought I'd update you guys. I think I got it. I'm not gonna like overcomplicate it, but I'm just gonna keep reading this and I'm sure things will also get revealed and reminded as the story goes. But I just wanted to update you guys on that. All right, little check-in. I haven't gotten any reading clips, so I apologize for that, but I'm a little further than this because I started listening to an audio. Let me figure that out. So I am on one of the before chapters, page 202. Car I've been listening to also the audiobook while I'm just driving occasionally. I'm trying to save my hours for the next book that we read just in case, because that one's really thick, but I'm gonna be reading on my Kindle. Anyways, on Spotify it does say I have 6 hours and 15 minutes left in the book, so I'm hoping I can try and get this book done today. Hopefully I can read a little faster than that. But the main thing I wanted to mention is that Isla is being so stupid. She is so trusting of everyone, and you think from the first book that she would have learned her lesson, but she just didn't. Overall with the story, we are meeting more people and characters, which is kind of nice, but also like it's getting kind of confusing because there's just more people involved now. I definitely have a theory of what is happening, and I just have this like bad vibe since the first book, honestly, and I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, and if it doesn't, then maybe I'm just insane in trying to justify my feelings for certain characters, but I'm suspicious of this character. And I know they're gonna slip up at one point. Like everything that happens, I'm underlining and writing and putting their name there. I'm like, that's you. That's you. One thing I've definitely noticed about Alec Astor's books, specifically this series, I haven't really read any of her other books. I don't really know what other books she has. I know she has some romance maybe. Obviously, with every story, more information is revealed the more you read. But with hers, I definitely feel like they're slower paced. Each scene is like a little bit slower, stretched out until you learn tiny bits of information until the very ending where everything just starts happening at once. Definitely feel like the last part of this book is going to be insane and I'm going to be like on an all-time high. Right now, it's just very mellow and we're trying to figure out how to navigate the issues that Isla and everyone else is facing. I am enjoying this book. I'm going to keep reading more of it. If anything else pops up, I will see you guys, but I'm going to keep reading. You guys, I was reading today at work. The scene of this picture happened, I think. I'm not fully done with it, but I'm pretty sure that's a scene. Giggling about it. It is so good. I'm actually really enjoying this book right now. And the before chapters, if you get what I'm referring to, I'm really enjoying those. I love Grimm. I love Grimm. I am currently on page 298 and I'm in one of the before chapters. So yeah, I couldn't finish it fully while I was reading it in that moment, but now I'm going to. I just finished this book. It's 9:30. Took me way longer than I thought it would. You guys, absolutely shocked. This book was so, like, here's the thing. Leading up, like, the first, like, chunk of it, kind of boring. And then when you get to the last, I would say 150 pages of this book, it picks up and it gets so interesting. I don't even know how to describe like the timeline of this because you have like a then and now timeline in it. And then the last chapter of the then timeline, it just leads into the first book, which I think is so cool. So I think that's the coolest part about this book. Ending, my jaw was on the floor the entire time I was reading it. Like I was gasping. I was like, the whole time. So good. I think I have an idea of what I want to rate it. I'm just gonna like sit with it for a bit. I want to do my Goodreads review and get all my thoughts out there. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow with my final little thoughts and wrap up of this book and my rating. But the ending was insane. I love it. I definitely want to start the third book soon because I need this information fresh on my mind so I can carry this energy into that book as well. I have gathered my thoughts about Nightbane. So I ended up rating this book 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I will say the beginning started out slow and that's why I didn't rate it higher. I think 4.25 or like 4 is the best rating in my opinion for this. I think the beginning was definitely a little slower, but then as the story continue on, and I mentioned in a clip earlier about how as more details are revealed, the story gets like more tense and everything just starts happening. That's when I enjoy it. I could not go to bed last night because I was just thinking about this story. I absolutely love the then and now timeline. I think, well, because it's like a before, but you get to see where two characters met in the past and you see how their story developed and it continues all the way till the end of the book. And these are memories that are being revealed to Isla. So it's just like so good. I love Grimm. He is my favorite. I was reading the comments on Goodreads and everyone's like hashtag Team Oro this, like no one likes Grimm. I love Grimm. He was down bad in this book. For Isla's character, I definitely liked her more in Lightlark. I feel like her character in that one, she had to prove herself more, but she was also stronger and just kind of held her own. In this one, I feel like she was more like fragile and acted like she was breakable. She just like, cause she was a trained warrior more or less too in the first book. And in this one, it didn't feel like that vibe from her. So I kind of missed what Isla was like from the first book in this one. But as the story continued, we slowly started to see those sides of her because she was also trying to, I think, figure out who she was in this one. I need the third book right now. Like I need it in my hands, but the only issue is my 2 copies of these books are in paperback, so I want to wait for, I think it's called Sky Shade, to come out in paperback, which is like October 28th. So I will be filming a video reading that because I want to carry this energy and emotion and momentum into that book. Now, the next book, I did show a couple clips of me reading it today. We are going to be starting is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I have the first book in physical form, but I don't have the second book, and I'm trying not to like buy more books until like I need to. I know I'm gonna end up buying this one eventually. It's on Kindle Unlimited, which I thought was awesome. All of the books that I'm reading in this video are also on Kindle Unlimited. I didn't know this one was either, but it is, and that's so helpful because I was reading that one on my Kindle and in the book occasionally. I have started this one. I also watched a recap video from this creator on YouTube. They are my favorite for these type of like animation recap videos. It summarizes the book so well, but I read this today while I was working in between breaks and I got to page 40. I'm on Araya's chapter. It's also dual point of view, which is awesome because we get Rain and Araya's point of view in this book, which I am so excited for. It's, once again, my feelings towards this, I was in shock how the first one ended, and then this one, it picks up right where the first one left off. Now we're just navigating the characters and how they feel for each other because everyone's very upset and angry based on how the first one ended, which is understandable. I just love romance in fantasies, and sometimes issues occur and people get angry and that romance kind of dissipates. Is that the right word to use for that? Dissipates. I'm very excited to continue reading this. I definitely want to binge this one and try and get it done fast. It is a thick book. I think it's like 200 pages longer than the first one, so I'll come back with more thoughts and opinions once I've gotten like 100 pages into the story or something crazy happens. Hi guys, I have a little bit of an update for you. I'm on chapter 24, page 188 on the Kindle. I'm 31% through this book. I was just listening to it on Spotify while I was doing stuff for my book journal for the month of September. I don't really have much to say about this. Nothing's really going on. I think we're kind of navigating the new political side of the world that's happening with everything that changed from the first book. Nothing like crazy's happening though, where I'm like invested into it. It's kind of boring right now in my opinion. We are learning more things about characters in the first book, and as I mentioned, just like understanding how things work and why things are the way they are. I will say we have a development for Araya as a character, which is cool, but I don't really know what to expect in this book. I don't know. Like, it wasn't as intense as like the ending of the first book made it, because then this one is just very like, this is what's happening and this is how we're gonna go about it, you know? I'm gonna keep reading this though. It says I have 7 hours and 43 minutes left. Hopefully I can get this book done because I do want to start some other books tomorrow. I'm sure as the book gets going, it'll get better, but I just can't see like what the end goal is for this, because I know in this series there's 3 duets in it, and this is the Nightborn duet. So this is book 2 of the Nightborn duet, and then the next 2 books will follow different characters. It is good. I just need to keep reading and learn more about the main plot. I think crazy's happening right now. We are moving a bit around the place, and I know there's a map, and then I will check back in once I'm probably like 50 or 60% through, or 75. Who knows? Just finished The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I loved it. It was so cute. The ending was so cute. I love Rain and Araya, truly. I really did enjoy the ending of this book, specifically like the last chapter, 2 chapters, just because it was like more romance stuff. I think overall I'm gonna rate this book 3.75 stars. That feels right for me. I think the first book will forever be my favorite. It was so good, and there was just a lot of action in it, and it had like the enemies to lovers. In this one, I enjoyed it, and I like how they closed the like duet story with Araya and Rain. I just didn't really like the political side of it in like the fantasy world. I like that we got answers for questions from the first book, and that all was wrapped up nicely. I just didn't feel like the excitement reading this one as I did the first one. I caught myself kind of like thinking while I was reading the book and not really paying attention, so I'd have to go back and like reread some stuff. So yeah, that was like my only downside about this one. I just feel like it wasn't that intense, and I was hoping a little more for that considering how the first one ended, but overall I think it was still really good. The ending just made me like giggle. It's so cute. So that is gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me read all of the series that I am currently in the middle of, slowly making our way through, but I am in a lot of series right now. Just a quick little wrap up for you guys. So the first book that we read is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I rated this 3.75 stars. This is the third book in the Inheritance Game series, and I know there's one more, which is The Brothers Hawthorne. I know there's a couple other books involved with the characters in the series, but I feel like those four encompass like the main series. The next book that we read was Nightbane by Alex Astor. I rated this 4.25 stars. This is the second book in the Lightlark saga, and there are two more after this. And then the final book I read on my Kindle, I don't have it on here because I'm reading something else right now, but that was The Ashes and the Starcursed King by Chris Broadbent. That was book 2 in the Nightborn duet. So that is the first chunk of that series completed, and now I believe I have 2 more sets of books in that series that I have to read. So I'm very excited to continue on. Overall, if I had to pick what book was my favorite, I would honestly say Nightbane. I have like a special love in my heart for Lightlark. I know it's like very mixed opinions on this one, but I really like this one. I really like the characters. I really love Grimm in this as well. And I think the fantasy world is just very fun and how she writes this. And I always have a good time reading these. That is everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books, what your thoughts and opinions are on them or on these series. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye.